Hello there everybody, it's Joe here and welcome back once again to my F123 My Team career mode. We are in season 2 and we are carrying it on here at Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It was a strong showing in Miami, finishing in the top 5. Here's hoping we can have another strong showing here. And so far in qualifying, however, I'm going to be honest, it's disappointing. We are going to be up on our second attempt though. Here we are, 4 attempts up. But unfortunately I go a bit wide in the last corner, as you can see here. Dipping my wheel on the gravel. That does lose me a couple of attempts. I'm still up. It is P16, but it's not going to be enough. By the time everyone circles around and improves, we are P19. With it all to do once again. But hey, we're towards the back in Miami, so I have hope that we can get a strong result here, especially with inclement weather forecast.
Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. The clue's in the name. This is very much Ferrari home turf, and the locals will be out in force today to support their team in what we hope will be a magnificent spectacle of motorsports. On then to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. One lap of Imola, anti-clockwise of course, unlike most Formula One circuits, will take our drivers round 3.1 miles of track. 19 turns, 9 right-handers and 10 to the left. Drivers will need to be precise at the hairpin at turn 7, given the subsequent uphill section. Without a good exit from that corner, they'll lose a lot of time on that stretch. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. And Fernando Alonso completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, Perez, Stroll, Magnussen, Ocon, Bottas, Zhou, Gasly, Albon, Tsunoda, Sargent, Liam Lawson, Hulkenberg, Sparkles, Hauger, De Vries and Oscar Piastri. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? That was a solid result in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Here we go, lined up on the grid, 32 laps ahead of us. It's lights out and away we go. Russell gets away okay, but look at the start from Fernando Alonso in P2. It looks like he's got the jump, and it looks like he's got the lead heading into turn 1. Russell having to back out, and I think he's going to fall victim to Charles Leclerc as well, who gets very opportunistic and does indeed take P2. Verstappen currently on board with him, running in P5 in the Red Bull, eyeing moving forward. Right, we're now on the grid for our POV of the start. It is lights out and away we go for us. We've made a semi-decent start. Sargent is backing Hulkenberg up, and Lawson in turn backing them up a bit more. I'm trying to go down the inside of Lawson here, but there's just not enough room. Lawson crowding me out and putting me off going to the inside, not really giving me the space, but we have gained 2 places off the start, overtaking Sargent and Hulkenberg. Liam Lawson is next on my list, but we're not quite getting it done. In fact, we've got a little bit wide there from Logan Sargent. Just having a look at us there, but not quite able to make it, as we now tuck into the back of his Williams teammate Liam Lawson to see if there are any opportunities that are opening themselves to us here. Not right now. At the end of the first lap though, we're going to get a nice tow down this very long straight, and we're getting a very nice slipstream indeed, using overtake to full effect as we go to the outside, switch to the inside of the Williams, and the move is done. Tsunoda going a bit deep there as we nearly went into him, but we weren't quite able to take the AlphaTauri. So far, the only place we have gained is that of Liam Lawson. Trying to go around Tsunoda there, and we've got to cross the chicane. It was very late braking there, so not able to get the move done, but we've got better momentum heading into the left-hander, but I'm going to back out of it and use the slipstream and overtake on the long straight rather than risking a move there and losing my front wing potentially. It is only for 15th after all, and there is a long way to go in this race. Look at how well overtake is working for us. We've now got a toe. We're going to the outside line. We should have that done before we even get to the corner, and we do. P15 for us then, moving up the field quite nicely, but unfortunately ahead of us is a DRS train. We may struggle here. Right, here's Max Verstappen having a look at Carlos Sainz trying to take P4. Is Verstappen going to get through? They're side by side heading into one. No, Sainz holds his own. But now we've got to change for the lead imminent. Charles Leclerc going down the inside of Fernando Alonso and getting that lead before we even get to the corner. Also, there's another change in position behind this pack. Max Verstappen moving ahead of Carlos Sainz, using all the road available to him to do so. And there he is, Verstappen up into P4 in the Red Bull, and Norris and Perez are having a fight of their own as well. All-out action here, as we are now stuck in a DRS train at the back of it, trying to find a way to stay close to Pierre Gasly. Problem is, they're all dragging themselves forward, and I'm having to push like crazy just to stay with this. So right now the pace just doesn't seem to be all there with us, but I'm hoping we can make some gains here. We are sitting in P15 currently, and as a few laps go by, the proof of the DRS train effect, as we are closer to them. But the problem is, with the DRS train, they've all got DRS, and it's not helping me get any closer. It's rather keeping me at the same distance that I am behind them, which is frustrating. Gasly is having a look at Zhou though. I wonder, is Gasly going to get past? And is there going to be a way through? If he does, Gasly gets the move done, but Zhou gives me a very harsh chop there. No way through past the Chinese driver, as we now watch Fernando Alonso putting Charles Leclerc under pressure, should I say, having a look down the inside to try and retake that lead. And has Alonso got it done down the inside? No. You're going to have to get up a bit earlier than that if you're going to overtake Charles Leclerc. And now George Russell wants a piece of the Aston Martin, having a look down the inside, but backing out very quickly as Alonso comes across and makes it clear that he will not be overtaken there. Meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out a way to get past Zhou Guanyu. Well, that's one way to do it, because Zhou Guanyu has lost it. Right in front of us, Zhou Guanyu has a spin, but I think he'll get that going underway again very quickly. No harm, no foul there, and unfortunately, no sign of a virtual or an actual safety car, as if there was a virtual safety car, I would take my chances and pit under it. But we're now pitting at the end of that lap, and we do have issues in the pit lane, however. A sticky tyre that is struggling to go on, and that isn't going to help our undercut attempt here, as we did pit a lap or two earlier to try and make that undercut. That has now become very difficult, so I'm going to have to push like hell to try and make any kind of gain forward here. Thanks to the pit crew. That's the second time in a row that's happened. We had it in Miami, we've had it again here. The pit crew just love making my work that bit more difficult, don't they? But I'm pushing like crazy to make some gains here, and we've set a fastest lap, which just proves how much of an advantage fresh tyres are. And look at that, we're ahead of Ocon, we're ahead of Bottas, and we are roughly five-ish seconds behind Lando Norris. So we have gained a little bit there, and the total of our gain is going to be shown here, as we're only a few tenths off the fastest lap, despite not a perfect first corner. And here we go, that's Lance Stroll and P9, and that is exactly what I've taken. I've taken Stroll. P9 up ahead is Magnussen, so even with a sticky wheel there, we have made some serious gains in that pit stop. Mostly thanks, I'd imagine, due to pushing like crazy as soon as we were out and just setting the fastest laps possible. I think without that sticky tyre, we probably could have been ahead of Magnussen too. But I will take P9 for now. We're in a very nice position here, although Stroll is going to want to try and take it from me as we push hard using all the chicane and just a tiny bit more there. And look at this. This is Max Verstappen having a look at Charles Leclerc. He has been sneaking his way forward, has the Dutch driver, the world champion, up into P2, and now he gives chase to Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin, who is leading once again. So he must have overtaken Charles Leclerc in the pit stops, and Alonso sets the fastest lap, which is soon beaten by Max Verstappen. And I'm trying to catch up to Kevin Magnussen, but that's not really happening. And it's especially not happening because Stroll is starting to attack, which means I'm going to have to defend. I go to the inside, brake late, I give him room, there's wheel banging there. He goes across the chicane, we bang wheels again, which forces me off the circuit almost. But we just hold on. That was aggressive but fair defending, and we gave each other as good as we got. But unfortunately for him, Stroll is now being backed up, and Bottas is having a look at him, so that's not going to help Lance's progress in this race, driving in the Mercedes. And I'm pretty happy that we are ahead of the Mercedes, given how much of an advantage they have in the performance index compared to us. We're currently running in P9, and there's a yellow flag behind us. I'm not quite sure who's gone, but I know someone pretty close to us will have gone as we go across the chicane, and we're going to find out that it is indeed Alex Albon that's gone out. Here is the Haas grinding to a halt. That's a shame. Albon was having an okay race there, but pulling off to the side, his race is now over. And Max Verstappen's race certainly not over. He's been pushing all through this race. He's had a great afternoon moving forward, and it's about to get even better as the rain starts to fall. Verstappen takes the lead on the slippery track, and George Russell moving ahead of Charles Leclerc. Let's wind the tape back, see how he did it. Here comes Russell round the outside. No, we're going to wind the tape back even further. And now Russell just using that slipstream beautifully. And Leclerc obviously not feeling as confident in the damp conditions, whereas Russell's just like, yeah, it's damp. What of it? What of it? I'll take your position. Anyway, while they're all doing that, I'm seeing that it's getting wetter, and I've decided to make an early pit stop to change onto the intermediate tyre, because that is the way to go as we pull into the pits. I'm hoping for a better pit stop. We've got Esteban Ocon right behind us, also pitting, and in fact everyone behind us electing to pit, but all those in front of us staying out. In fact, no, not everyone pitting, only a few of us in the pit. And once again, an issue in the pit lane with a sticky wheel, and that's put us behind Ocon, and once again cost us time. But where the track has got damp, we should gain that back on the drivers that we were retrospectively around. But I was hoping to gain a bit more, maybe take Kevin Magnussen with the change of weather. But that's not happened now, as half the drivers are now in the pits. The ones that didn't pit, should I say, are in. And we have moved ahead quite comfortably of the guys we were fighting. And 4 seconds behind Magnussen there. I think that the pit stops we have had in this race have really impacted us and made that difference. But we're still chasing Esteban Ocon for P9. I would like to take a couple of points from this race, not just the one. I'm not giving up. I am hounding him. And here we go, right in his rear, using using overtake and a slipstream to good effect. We're going to get it done before the corner. Brake late, almost go deep, but that is P9 taken off Esteban Ocon. And now we've got Sainz and Magnussen not too far ahead. So I'm wondering, in the damp conditions here, is this possible to catch them? Are we going to be able to gain on them? I guess anything is possible, as the performance disadvantage we have won't be as impactful. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc battling for what is P3 now with Fernando Alonso, because Russell has got past them in the pits. And look at this, side by side round the final corner, side by side down the straight. Leclerc's got momentum, but Alonso is not backing out. Who is going to emerge third as we go into turn 1? it is going to be Charles Leclerc who takes P3, which becomes P2 because George Russell has got an engine issue. And that is rotten luck, because he looked like he was shaping up for an attack on Max Verstappen. And in the end, it all comes to nothing for George Russell, pulling off to retire from the Grand Prix. And it is the final lap. The rain has now stopped, the track is dry, but unfortunately no one else pitted, and we would have just lost a mountain of time making a pit stop. So we've stayed out, and we're just trying to make sure that the tyres hold on. Norris and Magnussen in the end making quite significant gains in front of us, so we were not able to catch. But it's still going to be a decent haul of points from Imola. With P8, we take 4 points and increase our take in this Season 2 campaign.
Take care of the car on the way in. Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves. Let's review the driver's stand. This result then narrows the gap between our
A decent recovery drive from us then, from P19 to P8. Not bad work at all. I think the strategy very much helped. The pit stops and the times we made them helped. Getting the undercuts helped. But we weren't helped by how slow the wheel changes were. I'm going to have to stick on an upgrade for pit stop efficiency, and hopefully that will work. But it's 26 points for Max Verstappen, with Leclerc getting second and Alonso getting third ahead of Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz, with Norris, Magnussen, myself, Ocon and Bottas rounding out the top 10. So Perez still leading by a few points in the standings here by Fernando Alonso, with Max Verstappen right behind in touching distance. Never discount the Flying Dutchman, with Sainz and De Vries still in the top 5. I still can't get over seeing Nick De Vries in the top 5 of the drivers' standings, with Russell losing out on an opportunity on a big score here. Norris, Magnussen, myself and Leclerc, who is just getting up to speed and finally getting some decent points, rounding out the top 10. It's been a disaster start of the season for the Monegasque though, and that you see there, only 3 drivers have yet to score, and they are Zhou Guanyu, Sargent, and I couldn't see who else it was. Well, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you're new here and you want to see more content from me. Until the next time, I've been Joe, TTFN guys, and ta-ta for now. Take care.